So, what if I told you that you could read just one chapter of this really ancient, super mysterious book and understand the entire moral arc of history? I mean, all of it. Well, that's the incredible claim of the Book of Enoch. And today, we're going to dive right into this one prophecy that says it maps out, well, everything, from the beginning of time all the way to the final judgment.
Okay, so the text opens with this pretty incredible idea. It's basically saying, hey, let not your spirit be troubled. You know, in a world that can feel completely chaotic and random, it's suggesting there's actually a grand cosmic plan behind it all. It's a huge promise, really, that nothing is an accident and every single moment in history actually has a purpose.
And the book is really clear on this point. This isn't meant to be some dusty old relic that's only for a bygone era. Nope. It presents itself as a timeless doctrine, like a manual of wisdom that's meant for every single generation that comes after.
Okay, so the big question is, where did this incredible knowledge even come from? Well, Enoch makes a pretty staggering claim. He says he's not just, speculating or interpreting some weird dreams. He says he learned this vision directly from what he calls the heavenly tablets. And that changes everything, right? It immediately frames this whole prophecy not as some human prediction, but as a direct revelation, like he got a peek at the divine blueprint for all of history. So, this revelation is really the core of the whole chapter. It's this sweeping vision that divides all of history into these distinct periods, or as he calls them, weeks, and each one has its own unique character and its own purpose.
And when you look at this timeline, it really does read like an epic saga. You see, it starts with an age of innocence. Righteousness endures. But then, boom, decay sets in as wickedness and deceit arise. We see these dramatic ups and downs. A righteous leader is chosen. A holy law is made. A great temple, this house of glory, is built, only to be burned down later. And it all leads to this climax with the rise of an apostate generation. It's this huge, cyclical story of humanity's moral struggle. So after all that, where is this epic journey through history even going? What's the point? Well, according to the text, it all leads to this moment. After all the chaos and turmoil, the prophecy promises this moment of ultimate enlightenment. The righteous will finally get what's called sevenfold instruction, basically a complete understanding of all of creation and the cosmic order, the whole shebang.
Okay, so here's the crucial part. This huge, grand, sweeping prophecy, it all boils down to something incredibly personal and immediate. It presents a really clear, really simple choice that every single person has to make.
And here it is, laid out for us in the plainest possible terms. The prophecy offers zero middle ground. It's not complicated. There are two paths, and only two completely separate destinies. One leads to life, prosperity, peace. The other, well, it leads only to destruction. The choice really couldn't be any clearer. And the consequences? They are absolutely final.
And then, just to make sure the point really lands, the text hammers home the consequences of choosing that wrong path. It doesn't just say, hey, this is what happens. No, it delivers this series of powerful, almost poetic warnings, a list of woes aimed at very specific sins.
The first warning is aimed at anyone who builds their society, their home, their entire life on a foundation of injustice and deceit. And the prophecy's imagery here is so powerful. It's basically saying that anything built on a corrupt foundation like that, it doesn't matter how impressive it looks on the outside, it's fundamentally unstable. It is doomed to a sudden and complete collapse.
Okay, next up, the prophecy turns to the wealthy. But there's a really important distinction here. The warning isn't about being rich. It's about trusting in your riches. It's about making your money and your stuff your ultimate security. And in the process, forgetting about what the text calls the Most High, the divine source of everything.
From there, the prophecy goes after the corruption of truth and justice itself. It calls out two specific groups: the lying witnesses, people who twist the truth, and then those who weigh out injustice. Think of judges or powerful people who rig the system for their own gain. And for them, the text promises a very sudden end.
Now this woe is a really powerful critique of just thoughtless consumption. The imagery is so vivid, right? People who devour the finest of the wheat and drink wine in large bowls. It's condemning a lifestyle that's all about personal indulgence, a life that has turned its back on what the text calls the true fountain of life.
And finally, the warnings build to a climax with what the text presents as the absolute ultimate transgression. This is a direct condemnation of the mighty, who use their power to oppress the righteous.
I mean, this isn't just another sin. It's portrayed as a complete inversion of the way things are supposed to be. And the text is crystal clear on this. The day of your destruction is coming.
Okay, so after that incredibly intense series of condemnations, the entire tone of the text just pivots. It completely shifts gears from warning the wicked to offering this really powerful and uplifting message of hope for those who chose the right path.
And what a promise it is. It's a promise of total vindication. The righteous, the ones who might have been suffering under the powerful, they're told, be hopeful. And why? Because a great reversal is on its way. Justice isn't just going to be served, it's going to be sudden, and they will be delivered from their oppressors.
So what are the rewards? Well, they're super specific and really profound. The text just lists them out. Healing for all your wounds, a bright light to enlighten you, a deep and heavenly peace, even the ability to rise as eagles, and ultimately, a promise of many and good days. I mean, it is the ultimate contrast to the destruction promised to the wicked. It's a future defined by light, goodness, and total restoration.
So, where does that leave us? We're looking at this ancient vision of a universe that has absolute moral clarity. A strict black and white world of good and evil, with ultimate justice for everyone in the end. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In our world, which so often feels complex and full of moral gray areas, what can a 2,000-year-old prophecy of justice like this really teach us today?